Failing forward is when you choose to use your failures as a stepping stone and not as a stumbling block. Hello, 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 my beautiful audience and listeners. Welcome again to Makamba Unfiltered Conversations. Did you miss me? Because I missed you guys. I remain your host, Enobong, and today we want to delve into a topic that's often uncomfortable, but absolutely essential to discuss. Who would guess what that topic is? Failure. But failure in this sense, not in the sense of hiding things under the carpet or putting things away, but the kind of failure that sharpens you, the kind of failure that shapes you, and the one that sets you onto bigger wings. So I hope that you've had the time to go through our previous episodes, where we had an episode on becoming with our guest. And we also had another episode where I talked about my younger self and where I talked about money, mistakes, and matters. So it's good that the one on failure is coming, because further episodes coming will blow your mind. And I would like that you go with me on this journey as we continue Makamba Unfiltered Conversations. So, failure. Why failure? Why would I see failure as one of the best tools for growth? That's what we want to discuss on Makamba Unfiltered Conversations today. Most of us grew up thinking that failure is final, like a dead end. That's what we see failure as. So when we have had an issue, we just look at it and think, that this is the end. Everything is game over. But in reality, how many of us have actually sat back to see failure as feedback? How many of us have really looked at it to say, you know what, this issue that happened to me, this incident that happened to me, this period that, things didn't work out right, maybe I should sit back and think about it more as feedback and more as growth, So it didn't work. So what would I do? How would I refine this mistake, this error, this incident, this circumstance that didn't work? How would I refine it, in a different light? How would I see this thing that happened to me as something I should reflect about and think, that word again, reflection. I know Enobong is used to saying that, but here, it's unfiltered conversation. So if we have to use a word to ensure that it resonates with you and to ensure that you understand clearly where we are going with the discourse, then repetition can be good sometimes. So yes, reflect sometimes on what didn't work, how did it define you, why didn't it work, how are you going to refine, that thing that happened and then turn it to your good. Did you know that some very successful entrepreneurs, corporate people, they failed multiple times before their big break? Yes, not because they were lucky. No, it had nothing to do with luck. It's because they were willing to learn faster than most people would quit. If things happen to you and you take the time to reflect, to sit back, to think about it and see, what can I learn from this thing that happened to me? This thing that happened to me, what can I do to make it better? Then you would not necessarily get up and just decide that you're going to quit. I've had a lot of back-to-back things that have happened to me that were not so good. And the question is, did I quit? No, I didn't quit. And that's why I'm sitting in front of you, in front of the camera, trying to tell you, you can fail forward. Failing forward is when you refuse to let failure define you. Failing forward is when you choose to use your failures as a stepping stone and not as a stumbling block. Failing forward is when you begin to see failure as, what can I learn from this thing that happened to me? How can I take it a step further? What's that new thing that I can do with this thing that happened to me? So are you ready? This is very close to my heart because I have failed so many times. So many times I've failed at work, I've failed even within family as well. But question is, what did I do when that happened? And that's what we want to talk about today. So let me look at a personal story, for instance. I have many, but hey, we don't have that much time. But let me look at a personal story that happened to me. Very early in my career, I used to be one of those I can fix all things kind of person. And I remember one time when I was told to spearhead a project. I was very young in the industry at the time. And because my hand was always up, when they asked for something, I would put my hand up. Like I said, I really felt I could do everything, at the time. And I was growing, so I was very ambitious and very, very aggressive to try to get things done. So a project came up. There were people that obviously were more, will I say, more experienced than I was at the time. But hey, I had put up my hand, and because I had successfully executed one or two, I felt, oh, because I'd done one or two, I can do this one. And so I was given the lead to spearhead the project. And I thought, hey, it's foolproof. I can do this. So I put together what was supposed to be the strategy. I had the numbers. I had put together everything that I thought was supposed to make it work. And kaboom, halfway through, the entire project collapsed. Do I hear silence? Yeah, that's exactly how it felt. Everything collapsed. We missed key deadlines. The team's morale dropped completely. Don't forget, I was spearheading it, so I had quite a number of people who were supposed to be working with me on the project. I felt a personal failure because I had boasted about this project. I had referred, like, David would say, I killed the bear, I killed the lion. Goliath is a small thing. So that's how it felt for me. I had, executed one or two of such. But obviously I knew when I came on board to spearhead this particular one that it was not the same kind. The others were babies compared to where this was, but I failed and I felt a personal failure. The hardest part of it was it wasn't about the failure in it itself, actually, but it was a fear of what people were going to say. Don't forget, I had come on board to take on this project where there were a lot more experienced people that would have done it, and they knew. But because I had put myself out there looking like I was the best of the best of the best, that also feels like it came out of a movie by Will Smith, and I felt that was who I was. And then I started to hear, see, she can't deliver. Oh, she thinks she knows everything. She feels she's the most important person here. She feels she's the best staff. I found myself so exposed. But here is the truth. When that thing happened, I sat back, and that was the moment that shaped how I began to think, how I began to behave, and how I began to lead. And that is what has helped me till today. So that collapse, that failure made me and forced me to begin to pay attention, not just to the big picture strategy when you're doing stuff, but also to the system itself, to the people behind the execution. And it taught me humility and the value of listening more than talking. Yes, it taught me a lot of humility, the value of listening more than I was talking. So I was talking a lot and talking a lot, talking a lot and talking a lot. I can do this, I can do that, and kaboom, that project. So I learned. How many times do you sit back when you have gone through failure, you've experienced failure? How many times do you sit back and think, what can I learn from what has happened? Or do you just take failure and see it as a dead end and see it as a judgment call on yourself? The need to, take it easy on yourself and have less judgment calls is impossible. And that's why I want to, share a bit of lessons learned from this experience I had. And that is why this episode is called Failing Forward. We fail forward because we want to look at what has happened and see how it is that we can make better. The first lesson learned was resilience is a skill. I learned that lesson. You don't discover how strong you are until you have learned how to get back up when failure happens. So sometimes things happen to us and we stay back and we are crying in the muddy waters. We're staying there, we're crying, we're screaming for help, but we are still in the same place. We are calling for support, but we are still lying down in the same place. We are calling for help everywhere, but we are still in that same spot. Resilience is a skill. The need to know how strong you are, how you can bounce back again and say, yes, I know I messed up. Yes, I know I was knocked down. Yes, I know I didn't deliver as I was expected to, but I'm back up again and I'm going to try. The second lesson is failure is rarely wasted. Is rarely wasted. Every time you fail, look out for the insights, look out for the things, those things that are unseen, that is within that experience that happened. Look out for them, because you will be learning things that you would not naturally read or necessarily read in books or even get in trainings. You will actually be getting real life experience training when you get up. So look out for those things that happened, when you failed, because failure is really wasted. A lot of us have wasted our failures. A lot of us have allowed our failures to just go, unnoticed, or to just go uncelebrated, or to just go without looking out for that particular thing we could have learned in the course of it. So that is important. Number 3 is build systems. Very important. It's so important for you to build systems, not just goals. Why? Because the passion can get you started. You can start with a lot of passion when you're trying to do something. But if you don't have enough structure in place, you've not put enough structure, you haven't put maybe support systems in place, you haven't delegated some of the things you're supposed to delegate, you haven't, ensured that you've done your homework regarding that project that you want to do, you haven't done a bit of your homework to know where are you supposed to put a few things in place, you will get burnt, you will get knocked down. So ensure that you build the right systems. Whenever you have a project, maybe at work, maybe in your business, ensure that you've put the right structure in place, not just the goals. Oh, I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to achieve that tick, I'm going to achieve this tick, but put the right structure in place. Ensure that the help you need, the structure you need, the assistance you need has been put in the places where they will come on board when you need them. That was another lesson I learned, because quite a lot of things, sometimes I used to just want to do it by myself, but today, trust me, I have learned to build systems, not just goals. The next lesson I learned was leadership means owning the outcome. Yes, you heard me. Good or bad, own it. Good or bad, own it. People respect you more when you admit your mistakes. In my corporate world, I would ensure that if there was a mistake made by a member of my team, or some assignment given, I would take ownership of whatever that mistake was. I would take ownership, I would take responsibility for it, and I would learn from it. I could go back to the team and say, guys, we dropped the ball here and all, but right in the presence of, maybe the board, maybe management, maybe executive management, I would own it. And if it was good, I would give credit to the team. So leadership means owning the outcomes. You must learn to own the outcomes of every mistake and every error that happens in the course. How do you fail forward? I would like you to take this away as tips that I would share, as failing forward. I don't want you to just look at it as, or listen to it as them just being motivational. I want you to see it more like failing forward being practical. And one of that is normalize it. Normalize it. Understand that failure is part of everybody's story. Even if people don't post their failures on their timelines or online and all. Everybody fails at one point in time or another. It's an everyday progress. Failure is happening every hour on the hour. Failure is happening every second, and all that. Reflect. Instead of asking, why me? Ask, what is this teaching me? What is it teaching me? So you are reframing the strategies that comes with failure. Then apply. Don't just sit in the failure. Take one lesson, pull it out, put it into action, and ensure that there is a momentum that is happening, because momentum is medicine. Once you get out of failure and you're moving, Like we say in this part, hashtag we move. Once you're moving, once there's momentum, I guarantee you would be able to get up faster than you thought. Then seek for support, find mentors, maybe some of your peers that you trust, that you believe in, some coaches. Find those kind of people that have failed at one point in time or another. Find them. Very key, very critical, because you want to ask them, how did you do it? You want to find out what was their perspective when they failed, because you want to see beyond the pain moment. You want to see beyond that moment of when they failed. So you want to see, how did they do it? What did they do? So find those kind of people, because they are everywhere. I am one of those kind of person. I have failed many ways, and I've shared quite a bit of that in past episodes and more to come. Find them, learn from them, get what their perspective was, so that you can see beyond the pain of the moment that you're going through. Remember, failing forward isn't about avoiding embarrassment, because, excuse me, if you failed, the bad booze will come, the embarrassment will come, But after that, what next? Failing forward is about embracing growth, in front of others. You need to show them the kind of person you are. You need to tell them the kind of resilience that you have. So when you're listening to the feedback you've gotten from the failing, you're not exactly saying to them, you're not arguing, but you're listening. And you're saying to yourself, okay, so this is the feedback I got. So this is how much I got this. So what next? How do I improve on it? The biggest takeaway I would like you to have from this session or episode, as the case may be, is that failure doesn't disqualify you. A lot of people disqualify themselves, judge themselves when they make mistakes, when they fail. Failure, on the other hand, qualifies you for the next level. It proves that you are willing to take risk. It proves that you're willing to try, and it proves that you are ready to grow. Trust me, a lot of businessmen, a lot of CEOs and board members and big people, they always would pick somebody who has failed and has bettered themselves and has grown, than they will pick somebody who hasn't even had any of such experiences. So always understand that failure does not disqualify you, it qualifies you for the next level. So own your failures. As we wrap up, I would like for you to think about one failure in your life. Think about it. One failure in your life that seemed like it was a major embarrassment to you. What did it teach you? And how can you use that lesson to improve yourself and to help others? So if you got that, then the next thing would be, I'd like you to share your story with me. I'd love to hear it, because it would help to bring hope to other people who are other listeners and the audience of Makamba Unfiltered Conversations. So you can send me a message if you know any of my handles. You could social media handles, maybe on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, or you could drop a comment in our YouTube channel. You could tag me on your social media handles online. But I would like for you to share that story with me, because we might just be calling you up to come and share that story on Makamba Unfiltered Conversations. I will be so happy to get a lot of feedback from this, because that's the call to action. Because I want you to understand that failure doesn't disqualify you at all. It actually empowers you to your next level, because when you're given the next thing to do, when you're trusted again to do another project, to do another assignment, to do something else that is important, whether in your business, whether in your career, on your job, you know that you will be willing to take it a top notch up. So this has been interesting for me, and I hope it has been interesting for you, where we've been talking about failing forward. And I'm hoping that this has resonated with someone out there. Please drop your comments, please share, please subscribe as well. Until we come your way in our next episode, and trust me, to be another very, very interesting one, please understand that failure would let you to continue to show up, keep showing up, keep growing. And remember that success isn't about avoiding failure, it's learning how to fail forward. So until we see you next time on Makamba Unfiltered Conversations, I remain your host, Enobong. And like we always say, keep it real, keep it raw, keep it unfiltered, and ensure that you join us for the next episode. Thank you very much.